Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this is going to be a video for the full moon in Capricorn, which I just found out will actually be on the 8th in some places, at least in the United States. Don't ask me about Guam and Hawaii. I'm sure all of that is going to be on the 8th too, but where I live in Central Standard Time, it's going to be 11:07 p.m. And for people that are on the East Coast, or if you're in Europe, it's going to be, on the 9th. But for whatever practical purposes, we'll say the 9th, because it's very close to midnight in many places. So I'm calling this Something's Gotta Give. And one reason, I thought that the moon was going to be in conjunction with Pluto. But apparently when the full moon is exact, that's not happening. It'll probably be earlier in the day. But regardless, it's going to be happening on at least the 8th at some point, I'm assuming, earlier in the day. And there's all kinds of challenging aspects, okay? There's, for instance, the moon in opposition to Mars. Mars square Jupiter, the sun square Jupiter, people acting out of their egos, people who want to be free, but they are not, if you don't know who you are and you're trying to be free and you're trying to rebel or resist, as they say, then you're I was going to say you're an idiot, but I don't want to say something that dismissive. But it's always good to know exactly what you're doing before you do it. And in this particular instance, there's going to be so much cardinal energy. The cardinal signs are Cancer and Capricorn, and of course they are opposite signs. So they're being activated at this time of the full moon, as always happens between the sun and moon at the time of a full moon. And then you have, we have Mars is in Cancer as well. And this is why we're having an opposition between the moon and Mars. But the other two cardinal signs are Aries and Libra. So the thing about it that makes things a little tricky is that Uranus is in Aries at the moment. So you got this wild card, unpredictable planet that is squaring up to the moon, to Mercury, to Mars, yowza. And that can be a little bit hairy. But the main thing that I want to just impress upon people is that there's going to be this sense of urgency. And we can do really good things with that if we are conscious. And that is what videos like this are intending to give to people who watch it. A sense of understanding what is at play so that you don't get swept up in it in a negative sense. So if you happen to be hanging with people who are like, oh yeah, chomping at the bit, foaming at the mouth, and I'm speaking specifically of political stuff, because the elite know about astrology, I am sure. Just based upon past events, they know about these things, and they know when there is a ripe time to do certain things, when it's going to cause the most chaos and all that stuff. So being a useful idiot means getting swept up in that and not realizing that you're being manipulated. That's all I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean that being passive is always the best choice. Sometimes we have to take action, but it has to be inspired action, not just reaction. That's the best way of putting it. So we have, with the sun in Cancer and the moon in Capricorn, you have these two traditional signs. And so they are not signs that we associate with revolution, and yet Pluto is in Capricorn at the moment. So it's opposing Cancer. So people who actually are Cancers and Capricorns in the last, 9 years have had to contend with this, with these outer planets that are in cardinal signs, Uranus and Aries and Pluto and Capricorn, and having to kind of make peace with the fact that they tend to be very action-oriented signs, and yet they're getting thwarted left and right. And so if you are, or you know anybody who is any of those 4 cardinal signs, again, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, or maybe they have, certain other personal planets that are very, that are in cardinal signs, they may have been feeling a lot of frustration in the last almost decade with these transits, and it can feel like your hands are tied, and yet there's a cosmic purpose. It's showing you that action is awesome, but also being passive has its place. So it's not one or the other, So I just wanted to kind of impress upon people that, because I think there's sometimes a confusion about being active versus being passive, that one is better than the other. No, they both have their place, provided it's done with consciousness. With conscious awareness. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this particular reading is I'm going to pick, how many tarot cards should I pick? I think I'm just going to pick one, because I have these new decks that I want to take for a spin. And, I don't want to just always use the same cards. Okay, there you go. You have the Empress. So, let me see. Decisions. I'm going to use Wisdom of the Oracle. I got a Leg Up. It's kind of a quirky card. And I have 2 decks that are Earth. I would say Earth related. One of them being my Native Spirit deck, which, Native American religion is an Earth religion. We need that for our Earth. Prayer Feather. Okay. I'll do an Ascended Masters. Okay, right. I keep feeling I should do one more. I don't know if this is a bit much, but maybe I'll do Keepers of the Light. Serapis Bay, Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. Okay. I think I'll arrange these so that they're more visible up close so you can see them for yourself. All right. So, I think that's enough. I could go on and on. I'm quickly amassing a collection of cards here. So, let's start with the Empress card. And I was thinking, the Empress card, what does the Empress card have to do with anything? Well, the Empress card is connected to Venus. It's connected to, therefore, Taurus and Capricorn. Capricorn, Taurus and Libra. And I was thinking about Capricorn because Capricorn is an earth sign. This is the Earth Mother. This is why I do believe that it is much more, it resonates with me much more with Taurus than Libra because of that earth connection. And I think that this is kind of like, and just by some of the things that I've been kind of sensing, is that this idea of connecting with nature is very important for whatever reason. The full moon being in an earth sign certainly is one part of it. And with Pluto in Capricorn, we are seeing the structures of our life kind of crumble around us. And typically, I would say that is with the government or the educational system, the healthcare system. But even in terms of, I do believe that Capricorn relates to the Earth's crust. So anything that is we think is solid beneath us, we may be feeling like it's being pulled out from under us, and even like literal earthquakes. I woke up a few years ago, I think it was in 2008, and I found out later, and it was because I was asleep, I didn't remember. And then later in the day, they said there had been an earthquake in Illinois. And I believe that I felt it, you know, that the ground was shaking while I was sleeping. And I was thinking, something is wrong. But I was asleep, so I didn't retain that. So that, you know, metaphorically, we can say that people feel that sense of instability in their lives. And it can literally be, like I say, with, you know, some kind of tremor of the earth. But just in terms of what we associate with earth, you know, like in the Tarot, we talk about the pentacles. The Empress card is connected to abundance. But people have been very fear-based because they fear that they cannot sustain themselves as they used to. They see, you know, people see things in their reality. You can't deny what's in front of you. That's not what I'm saying to do. Some people have their salaries cut. You would have to be completely, you know, most people are going to feel that if that happens. And there's nothing wrong with being anxious if things change. But the point is to connect to the earth, grounding, look it up, you know, walking barefoot in grass that is not treated with chemicals. You know, there's exercises you can do if you feel this sense of instability in your life, or like, you know, everything is turned upside down. There are therapeutic practices that you can engage in, because people end up really starting to lose it when they feel that their first chakra, the survival, is being threatened. And this is what I'm talking about with all of this energy around the full moon, is that you have people who are already on a heightened sense of, you know, panic mode. So that just puts gasoline on the fire when you have this kind of energy. And depending on outer forces, they may try to take advantage of that. And we have to keep grounded and understand. I think the Empress is also about understanding this unlimited flow, this abundance that is available to all of us. But sometimes people kind of push it away because they are trying to do it themselves. Sometimes you have to just let go and believe that you are taken care of. And you know, if this is the thing about atheism that I don't like. I don't care about people being fanatics and being dogmatic. That's not where I'm at. But when outer forces try to convince us that there is no God, it makes it easier for people to lose faith that there is something greater than themselves. Because if you're just looking at your life through your lens, it's a limited lens usually, because it's just showing you the past. Everything that's here right now is something from the past. It's not showing your current state of consciousness, you know, because there's cause and effect, you know. And so first, everything begins in the mind. That's what I believe, and it shows up in the physical. So if you start believing what's in front of your eyes is what is true for you now, then you might be in panic mode if you don't see what you want to see. So it's very important to keep yourself grounded and level and not hysterical. The next card is a leg up, which I think is so quirky. 34. Show you this again. Looks like a polar bear. Well, if you're in the southern hemisphere, that might be apropos, I suppose. It means receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. You've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with, who can give you a leg up during this phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. This is a card about not going it alone, not doing it yourself. And I think of Capricorn a lot. I don't think so much of Cancer. I think Cancer people are much more relationship oriented, but Capricorn can be a lone wolf. And there can be pride in terms of not needing other people's assistance. And the way to get into that, if you have this, and some of us have been taught from our families of origin that you do not ask for help and you do not accept things that are coming to you. And that was something that I had to really learn. And it's not like I'm 100% there, but I can accept people offering to buy me something. Whereas before, I was very much against that. And I saw how it kind of offends people sometimes when you do that. But it is the same kind of mentality as this, is being able to, if you feel like you have something very important, being able to share that vulnerability is what it really is. And realize that we are all in it together. And I think that more and more in this world, you know, we talk about a global society, but we're seeing how we cannot be total individualists. The collective should not be emphasized either, because then we lose our individuality. But that, what they said was commingling, when it's appropriate, is very important, because sharing is caring. I'm just going to leave that there. The prayer feather, or prayer feather. Okay, let me look in my book. I love Native American patterns and jewelry and everything. I wonder if this is going to be one of those times where I can't find my booklet all of a sudden. Well, that's embarrassing. I will have to check on that later, because I don't have it in front. Oh, here, no, that's not the booklet though. Oh well. C'est la vie. I'm just going to keep moving on. The camera's rolling. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to keep going for what I have, and then maybe I will add it, tack it on later. Oh, here it is. I guess it fell. But now they're asking me to charge the battery pack, so. I suddenly flashed on Bewitched and Aunt Clara. You know, she was always so absent-minded, and that's pretty funny. Okay, so prayer feather. Love is flowing to you and through you. No matter what an individual is saying or doing, love him or her anyway. Gather your inner forces silently and secretly. Love deeply and fully with every ounce of your being, even if someone isn't fulfilling your expectations. It's easy to love people when they're acting wonderfully. The true challenge is to love them when they aren't. This is your time to love and to be loved. The love that you send out into the world comes back to you 100-fold. There are times when the small concerns of everyday life need to drop away and be replaced by the majesty of your being. This is that time. Prayer feathers are decorated feathers that can be used for many purposes. In some traditions, prayers are placed into the feather. You can hold it to your heart or between your hands as you focus on your prayer, and then tied onto a bush so when the wind blows, it carries the prayer to the Creator. Another type of prayer feather is a decorated feather or a decorated bunch of feathers that are used for smudging sacred smoke ceremonies. The smoke is to cleanse the space as well as to carry your prayers upward. And so this is, you know, I guess you would call it advice, but they say for a day, love each person you encounter. Imagine a golden ray of light from the center of your heart, radiating to the center of the heart of that individual. Notice how great you feel by the end of the day. Well, tell me if you that works for you. I mean, that's something that would be, I think, a challenge for me, quite honestly, because I do get into those states of mind. If somebody doesn't hold the door no, it's not so much holding the door open for somebody else all the time, but if somebody holds the door open for somebody else and that person doesn't acknowledge that act of kindness, oh, that really gets to me. Even if it's not me that it happened to. And I just instantly go into judgment. If I say hello to someone and they do not say hello back to me, I get like, I mean, oh, I just can't stand it. And it seems like the universe keeps showing that to me, where I say hello to somebody and they don't say hello back to me. So, and I'm not necessarily very, what do you call it, like outgoing. I'm not really that type of person. So it's hard for me to do it. I don't consider myself shy. I don't have problems talking to strangers, but I'm not like kind of outgoing where I just initiate contact because I want to have that connection. So when I, decide to do that and it's kind of rebuffed or it's ignored or whatever, I just like, it just, so the thing is, I want to be like this too. So I'm sure there are areas in your life where you can see the distance that you have between yourself and another person. And they say that this is an illusion, that we think we are a separate self, but we are actually part of a one. And, that card that I read earlier about asking for help, and about us being all in it together. That is so true. That is very true. And part of that is acknowledging that I am you as he is she, and we are all together. That's the walrus, isn't it? So, yeah, I can't say much more on that. This one is from the Ascended Masters, right? I guess this is Tehote. And I believe I've gotten this in one of my past readings, because I remember reading about Tehote, but I might have it in both of my decks, though, to tell you the truth. So let me see. You drew this card as a concrete reminder to write. You've been receiving a lot of signs and feelings to write lately. So let this card be the message that leads you to take action. Get out a pad of paper or your laptop computer and begin writing. Don't worry about punctuation, grammar, or spelling, as you can take care of those details later. For now, just express your thoughts and feelings as they flow into your mind and body. Additional meanings for this card. Keep a daily journal of your feelings and experiences. Write down your intentions, goals, and desires. Channel messages from your guides and angels. Your life's purpose involves writing. Write an article or book. Tehote is the Egyptian god of writing, manifestation, astronomy, and esoteric arts. He's an aspect of Hermes, the teacher of the Hermetic principles of alchemy and divine magic, who had many incarnations. He's considered the originator of written languages and was a prolific author and scribe of the ascended gods. Call upon Tehote for help with any writing project or to gain a deeper understanding and proficiency with manifestation principles. Yeah, because if, it's interesting when they said manifestation and they said Hermes, we think of Mercury, and that is the card that connects to the magician. Okay, so, and that's alchemy. Okay, so I would say I would broaden this beyond writing, although you could use this as a prompt or some kind of a thing where, and especially at the full moon, where there is a lot of fertility, to look at areas that no longer serve you, because this is a time of purifying your life. And maybe you could even write about that. Where are the areas that hold you back? And how would you benefit from letting go of certain things, whether it's certain people that don't support your dreams, certain relationships that suck the life out of you, that are vampiric, energy vampires. And they may be sweet people. People tend to get these negative ideas from, terms like that because they sound so terrible. But an energy vampire can simply be somebody in your life who is a constant complainer, who always has problems. When I saw that card, the leg up, I thought about the opposite of that. People who are always asking other people for help, who are overly dependent. And that's, I think, what makes me a little bit uneasy about that card. Because asking for help can be a manipulation, too. I really can. I really believe in doing for yourself what you need to do. And going to other people when you realize that you've done all you can do. But some people are premature in that because either they probably secretly don't believe that they have the ability to help themselves. But sometimes it's just a bad habit where, and well, it's probably related to that, where people don't think that they can do things by themselves. And we really should learn how to become resourceful and figure out things for ourselves. And that's exactly what that Magician card is all about. Because it's really about, the alchemy is about taking something that may seem very ordinary and even useless and making something good out of it. And so people build houses from scrap wood that other people would turn their nose up at, or make art from found objects. You can really be your own alchemist in many different ways. And so there's two sides of that coin about asking for help and helping yourself, And the last card is Serapis Bey, Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. Another Egyptian kind of a theme. For whatever reason. Oh, they had a mystical tradition, that's for sure. Let me see that card. Serapis Bey. Oh, I was going to pick another card. Well, it's too late now. I don't want to get too bogged down in this. Serapis Bey is the light keeper in charge of ascension. He once served as a priest in Luxor, Egypt, helping those passing on to cross over into the light. Now he is a presence we can call upon in order to ascend. Ascension means rising up. It reminds us of the story of Christ being resurrected after death. This means that Serapis Bey can guide us from the lowest states of being back into the light. His energy is almost like that of a phoenix, giving us the support to move out of our own hell or darkness into a space that supports our growth. The stars cannot shine without darkness. You may have experienced a low state of being, trauma or depression, but this is a new beginning. Become aware of growth. There's always room for improvement. There's also a sense of presentation now. You may be receiving a documentation or certification to acknowledge your growth or experience. It's important to cherish this time and to realize that without the challenges or obstacles you have faced, you would not be as strong, powerful, or focused as you are today. You are ascending personally and spiritually at this time, and the universe is here to support it. And a lot of that, if you've heard about ascension, I'm not going to go into it too much, but basically about that we are raising in vibration. And one thing that they always said was that people that can't handle this shift will not survive. And they said that you'll see people just like, they just die. And even if it's like a famous people dying at a time when maybe it would be considered premature for them or what have you. So it's very interesting because or even in your private life, you may have seen people die that weren't elderly. And it just seemed like, I mean, there might be a reason why they passed, but it's not necessarily the only reason, is what I'm saying, is that perhaps certain people cannot handle the higher vibration, and you have to be willing to shift into it, because all of these things, and it can feel very, I think it can feel very intense, because it's almost like things coming to a head. At this full moon, if you're watching this, I'm recording this on June 28th. So this is going to be 6 days from now. No, duh, I was thinking of the 4th of July. It's not going to be 6 days from now. Well, let's see. I think it's I said it was the 9th, right? So it's 9 days, I guess. So if you're watching a week in advance, you are, you know, forewarned is forearmed. You're aware. You can watch it as an observer and not get caught up in it. But realize that anything that is perceived as chaos in the outer world is actually this, if you want to call it a cleansing process, it's kind of like this quickening, whatever you want to call it. It's going to seem chaotic at first, and then we will have, I think we're going to have a harmonious situation. It would be great to have a golden age. I'm down with that. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I like those last 2 words, golden age. And I hope you enjoyed this, you guys, and have a great full moon in Capricorn. Bye.